Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about atopic dermatitis, which you probably know better as eczema. Now, this is so much more than just a bit of dry skin. It's a condition that affects millions. We're going to break down the science of what's really going on just beneath the surface. You'll often hear experts use this one simple but really powerful phrase to describe eczema, the itch that rashes. And that captures the experience perfectly. See, unlike a normal rash that then starts to itch, with eczema, it's the other way around. The intense itch comes first, and it's the scratching that follows which actually leads to the rash you can see. And this is the reality of what that rash can look like. It often shows up in very specific places, like behind your knees or on the inside of your elbows, as these red, inflamed, and intensely irritated patches of skin. So we've seen what it looks like, and we know it all starts with that itch. But what is actually happening inside the skin to cause all this? Okay, so at its core, atopic dermatitis is a chronic inflammatory condition. The two key words to hang on to here are chronic and inflammatory. Chronic just means this is a long-term thing. It's not something that just goes away for good. And inflammatory tells us that the body's own immune system is overreacting. It's not contagious at all, but it does tend to flare up from time to time. To really get why this happens, we have to look at the skin itself. Think of your skin as your body's #1 line of defense. It's like a protective shield. Well, for people who have eczema, that shield is, it's compromised. This slide has the perfect analogy for this. Think of healthy skin as a really well-built brick wall. The skin cells are the bricks, and the fats and proteins act like mortar, holding everything together. It keeps moisture in, and all the bad stuff, like irritants, out. But with eczema, that wall is more like a leaky wicker basket. There are gaps between the cells, and that lets precious water escape, which causes dryness, and it lets irritants and allergens get right in. So what causes these gaps in the wall in the first place? Well, it's usually a mix of things. There's a really strong genetic link, especially if you have variations in a gene called filaggrin, which is absolutely crucial for building that skin barrier. The bacteria living on our skin also play a part. Sometimes an overgrowth of certain types can throw everything off balance. And of course, there's that overactive immune system, which just goes into overdrive when it's exposed to triggers, causing all that inflammation. So that weak barrier leads to these 4 big problems that are all connected, as you can see right here. You've got dryness because water is escaping. You've got inflammation from the immune system. You've got that relentless, awful itching. And finally, you have a much higher risk of infection. So any good treatment plan has to tackle all 4 of these things at once. Now, this combination of a weak barrier and a hyped-up immune system creates what everyone calls the itch-scratch cycle. And trust me, it's a super frustrating, self-perpetuating loop to get stuck in. This graphic shows it perfectly. Your skin itches, so what do? You scratch it. And yeah, it provides some relief for a second, but what it's really doing is damaging that already weak skin barrier even more. That damage lets in more irritants, which triggers more inflammation, and that ultimately leads to, you guessed it, even more intense itching. It's a cycle that can feel impossible to break. And this cycle is often kicked into gear by specific triggers. It could be anything from a harsh soap to an allergen like dust mites, and a really big one, as you can see highlighted here, is stress. Emotional stress actually releases hormones in your body that can directly weaken the mortar in your skin barrier, making a flare-up way more likely. Okay, so while there's no cure for eczema, the good news is that it can absolutely be managed. The main goal is always the same. You want to rebuild and protect that skin barrier. So let's look at how that actually works. The absolute cornerstone of eczema care is a simple but incredibly important technique called soak and seal. And the idea is pretty much what it sounds like. First, you rehydrate the skin with water, and then you immediately seal all that moisture in. And this is where timing is everything. Experts talk about what's known as the 3-minute rule. You basically have this very short window of time right after a bath or a shower to put on moisturizer before all that water on your skin starts to evaporate, which could actually leave your skin even drier than when you started. So here's how you do it. First, take a bath or shower in lukewarm water, not hot, for just about 5 to 10 minutes. Use a really gentle soap-free cleanser. No scrubbing. Then when you get out, gently pat your skin dry with a soft towel. And I mean pat, don't rub. And then, the crucial part, within 3 minutes, while your skin is still damp, apply a generous amount of moisturizer to seal in all that hydration. I'm telling you, this one routine, if you do it consistently, can make a world of difference.
Now, managing the physical side of things is a huge part of the puzzle, but it is so important to recognize that the impact of a chronic condition like eczema goes way deeper than just the skin.
I mean, think about it. The constant, maddening itch can totally destroy your sleep, and that affects everything from your mood to your ability to concentrate. And studies have shown a really clear link between atopic dermatitis and mental health conditions like anxiety and depression. It is a heavy, heavy burden to carry, both physically and emotionally. And that is why understanding all of this and being consistent is so critical. As this quote from a teenager with eczema says, it's all about building those habits until skincare becomes second nature. Managing this condition isn't about finding some magic cure. It's about diligently, patiently rebuilding that wall day by day so you can take back control of your skin. Thanks so much for joining me.